Mr. Ullas Kamath built a billion-dollar business before anyone had coined the term unicorn. He could have easily hung up his spurs, but he's back on his horse, helping the next generation to build their fortunes. I'm Jasper Reed, and you're watching Billion Dollar Idea.
There are businesses, and then there are businesses that help people build businesses. Founded in 2021, UK & Company is one such unique business that is transforming Indian family businesses and MSMEs by making them robust entities. Rooted in a strong tradition of entrepreneurship and a deep sense of familial values, Indian family businesses play a significant role in shaping India's economy. They are characterized by a unique blend of business acumen, long-term vision, and a strong commitment to maintaining family unity and values. But in recent years, family businesses are unable to expand beyond their past generational success and in most cases fail to maintain their legacy. Often, the continuity of the dated leadership style, inability to delegate responsibility to the new generation, and reluctance to adopt new age business strategy are the reasons behind their stagnation. With his tele-experience, expertise, and strategic vision, Ullas Kamath brought together like-minded people to create enduring brands and lasting legacies for family businesses by founding UK & Company. Mr. Kamath carries the legacy of transforming the Jyoti Laboratories into a household name through innovation and strategy. With the vision to help family businesses and MSMEs replicate the success, UK & Company leverages data to enable organic change. With technology and innovation at its core, UK & Company eliminates uncertainty due to evolving business environments and customer preferences, and it enables scaling by realigning business goals with family vision. This approach is helping family businesses become a harmonious blend of tradition and modernity, combining age-old wisdom with innovative practices to adapt to changing market dynamics. UK & Company, with visionary Ullas Kamath at its helm, is ensuring a lasting legacy for Indian family businesses.
And now let's meet the man behind the mission, Mr. Ullas Kamath. Mr. Kamath, delighted to meet you and welcome to Billion Dollar Idea.
It's my pleasure.
Now let's start. I'm going to take you back a little bit because you've had an extraordinarily successful business career, right? And now you're on a new mission, and we'll come back to that in a second. But I want to talk a bit about the journey on Jyoti Labs. But the first thing I want to ask is, I'm old enough to remember when you acquired the Henkel entity from the Germans. Do you see your success in business, and you built a 7,000 crore valuation business, do you see your success as a matter of luck, or judgment, or fate, or timing? Let's start there.
I think it's a combination of all. In India, everything matters. And for me, hard work comes the first one, and doing the right thing at the right way in the right time. And the country is also doing extremely well in the last 30 years. So most of the companies have done the right thing in the last 30 years have done well, and Jyoti is one among them.
And that thing about the right thing, Mr. Kamath, is that about values? Talk to me a little bit about that. Is it about ethics?
Again, both of it. Coming from the South India, we come with a lot of value system, and the culture is also a little different when come to the rest of India. And the chairman of the company, Mr. M.P. Ramachandran, who started in a small way with just invested of 5,000 rupees in Kerala way back in 1984. I joined in 1991, which that time it was about 10 crore company. But the value system was very intact. We cannot spend more than what we earn, and we never borrowed the money till we acquired Henkel. So it is the system that you need to earn profit and focus on purely on profit, and top line should always be there. But the growth, along with the profit, what we felt is the right thing to do at that point in time, and that helped us.
I see, and I mean, clearly India is a massive, massive country from north, south, east, and west. But what you're partly saying is it's part of the southern culture, these values that then drive some of the economic principles.
Absolutely, yes.
So let's stay on Jyoti Labs again. So I want to talk a bit about what you learnt there, because this helps make the bridge into this extraordinary mission you've got now to help the family entrepreneurs of India. When you acquired Henkel, you took on, I remember reading the media at the time, everyone said you bit off more than you can chew, that's the end of these fellows. They're going to have to reverse integrate a business that's a big mouthful. What did you learn in that experience? What are the biggest takeaways?
Henkel acquisition was a game changer for the company, which I knew very well. And as you rightly said, that most of the people thought it is a wrong buy because the size of the investment, what we are doing, it is almost 10 years of our future profit we are putting into acquiring that business for 785 crore. But I knew that Henkel as a company is one of the most respected company in the world. That time they were 20 billion euro company. And they had quality products and the great brands like Henko, Margot, and Neem.
These household names, yeah.
Household names. So when you're in the branded business, all it takes for you to take a decision is how good the brands are and how good the brand's health are. And to that extent, I felt that it was the right thing to buy them at that point in time, more or less to get the technology, brand, and also the good factory setup what they had.
Well, and it's very interesting. So you spotted the quality and you were in the FMCG game anyway. But one question I'm curious about is, you bought that business at 1.5 times sales, right? Which was an amazing deal. Why was it that the Henkel Wallers couldn't make this business work?
The reason is that they just came into the country just before the economic globalization. It happened in 1991 and they came in late 80s. So timing was a little wrong. They set up their factory in the southeast of the country wherein most of the benefits were not available. The second point was that the employees of Henkel were trained as in Henkel way. So you need to be competing with the local companies than the Unilever or P&Gs of the world. The mindset of the employees were that we are a global company and we need to be behaving or working as a global enterprise, which is true, they had to, but the size of the company was very small.
I see. And just staying on Jyoti, because that's the bedrock of your career and your 30 years, and you've had enormous success, so many awards, you're on multiple boards, you've got 3,000 boarding passes. I mean, you've traveled everywhere. But if you take what you've learned at Jyoti, what are the top 2 or 3 things that it really taught you?
The first one is the chairman, Mr. M.P. Ramachandran. He taught me everything. I'm not from the family background, but he taught me ABCD of entire business, right from manufacturing till building the brand. And give me a free hand to whatever is good for all the stakeholders. So when I joined, it was 10 crore company. When I left, it was about 2,000 crore company. The entire journey, probably he was the person who pushed, saying that we need to do because we have nothing to lose. We need to do for the country. We need to do for the society. And he was very, very fond of recruiting more salespeople, more sales people all the time. And we always created a job for the needy from the rural India.
So he sounds like a big enabler. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely, yes. And he gave the freedom and always used to say that I've just invested 5,000 rupees and rest of things belongs to the company. Let's do big, let's do big. And that gave you confidence that you can take that little bit of calculated risk.
Okay, so you had a mentor, and that will be important when we get to talk about UK and Co, because that's intrinsic to your model. So mentorship, enablement, that's one thing. What else? What about people? I mean, you've traveled the country, you've stayed in salesmen's houses. What have you learned about people in business?
In Indian context, we are very emotional. And especially if when you go towards the bottom of the pyramid, they are more emotional. And what do they need is a little bit of respect, recognition, and reward that. And that's what we practiced in Jyoti Labs. And when you meet the distributors, when you meet the staff, you need to understand their background. And then you know that how to tell them, what to tell them, and how much need to be told to them. And I firmly believe that ordinary people will always deliver extraordinary results if you help them to do well with some kind of knowledge, some kind of market data analysis. So that's what we did.
We get to work with Mr. Kamath and Mr. Sitpai almost on a daily basis. And the idea of sort of being in the same room, trying to understand what they say, and sort of picking the finer things that they've learned over so many years in their experience, it's really motivating.
You operated a national business, a homegrown FMCG titan, right? Selling household favorites around the country. How did you even get your head around the complexity of this country from the Himalayas to the far south?
We always went one state at a time. And we always gave what the consumer wanted it, and we always took the competition head on. Because if a product is great, if it's better than the existing product, your pricing is right, your positioning is right, and you promote it well, chance of success in India is very, very high. Because people experiment with new products if it can deliver your promises. And we always launch our product in Kerala first. It is the most happening state in the country. Always we try in Kerala. Well, after seeing the success in Kerala, we come to southern states, and then we go to national. We never went any product national overnight. Just to tell you just a data, that in Kerala, out of 45,000 retail outlets, our products is not available in about 200, 300 outlets. That's the kind of reach we have.
How amazing.
Yeah, when you have that kind of a reach, then you're placing a great product there and having a fantastic sales force and a distributor setup, and you spend the money on the brand, chance of success high.
Okay, we could talk all day long about the background, but why don't we continue the next part of the conversation and you help us make the bridge into what you're doing. Okay, shall we? So Mr. Kamath, you do 30 years at the helm of an extraordinary business, right? And you're enabled to do that. And then I imagine Mrs. Ullas was sort of expecting you to retire, spend some more time with the family. But all of a sudden you set up this enterprise. What happened?
It was a long story. Yes, every wife wants her husband to back home after 30, 40 years of work. But in my case, I did mention to my wife that I'll be doing some part-time consultancy, advisory to few people because I can't sit at home.
This doesn't look very part-time, sir.
Yes, so that was the way how it all started. Because even now when I was in the Jyoti Labs, when some of the few small enterprises used to approach me to get some guidance, get some help, I used to do that, just as any other social activity you do, to help small and medium enterprises, to tell them don't do this and things like that. But then I thought myself that the knowledge what I have got and the knowledge like-minded like me, many are there, why not we institutionalize that? And this knowledge is hard-earned, 30 years of work, and especially when I was Jyoti, from proprietary concern to private limited to private equity, first round, second round, third round, fourth round, and then a public issue, and thereafter, acquiring Henkel, integrating that. So this entire...
it's a big span, right? It's a big
span. Huge. And this is what a small enterprise should get to know, that everything is possible.
Is your motive here profit? Or is it a karma thing, or is it both? Why are you doing this?
It is definitely, from my side, it is that institutionalizing the knowledge what we have collectively and giving back to the society in a way to build the businesses of small and medium enterprises, because we need them, the country needs them. They create millions of jobs. And while in the top of the pyramid, you have everybody who are knowledge-based, but we do need the people at the bottom of the pyramid create the jobs. And 90% of the jobs are created by the small and medium enterprises. To that extent, for me, the primary motive is to help them to grow and get our cost reimbursed.
See, Mr. Kamath is legendary in his own right, and for him to, it's just to see him work in terms of with people, with different ideas. He's always 10 steps ahead of you. That's something that really inspires me to say, how does this man know so much more? Like, we would always go with him with the next 2 steps, but he's already thinking in step 10, right? And we are trying to sort of see how we can build that kind of capability within ourselves to sort of do that for the public.
So you've got a team here, you've got a client base or a marketplace. Talk more specifically about how you enable your clients.
First is that we pick up the clients where we feel that there is a real growth. If we should be confident about it, and they should be having the great value system, and they need to have embedded culture in a way in which they need to do the right things.
A bit like Jyoti.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one. And once we take them on board, we take about 1 year's time to undo the things, and then only we can do the things.
Oh, I see. There's an unlearning process, a cleansing, if you like.
Yes. And first we'll showcase what we intend doing in a blueprint form, like an architect. We showcase them and we tell them, okay, this is what we are going to undo, this is what we are going to do, and mainly into the technology and capital structuring, and maybe going beyond their core business. All those things we'll put it in a piece of paper and make them a blueprint kind of a thing. And once they agree, then the people who are sitting here, each one is an expert in the area. There are people from technology, there are people from finance, the people in marketing, the people who are here in the hardcore sales, distribution. So all these people get into the job.
UK & Co is a very professional team. We also were growing every year about 18 to 20% over last 18-20 years, except for COVID. But I'm very proud that we are the first client of UK & Co. And last 1 year, after we have been advised on day-to-day basis by UK & Co, especially Sri Ullas Kamath and Sri Siddharth Pai, last year we have grown over 60%.
Mr. Kamath, you mentioned this generational thing. Let's just dwell on that a bit, because talk to us about how generational factors are either enabling SMEs or holding them back.
It's actually holding them back because in Indian context, if I just to give the data point, from first generation to second generation, only 30% of businesses are getting transferred.
From the 1 to 2?
1 to 2 is 30%. From 2 to 3 is 3%. And 3 to 4 is 0.4%.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So it's a 1/3 step down, and then it's over a cliff.
Yes, as against 10, 15 generations in Korea, Japan, in European countries, it goes seamlessly for 10, 15 generations.
So what's happening? What's happening, Mr. Kamath?
Just succession planning. There's no succession planning here. People think that they'll live forever.
Okay, so they need to retire at a certain point, give the young people their freedom. What else, Mr. Kamath?
Young people, my advice for the young people is that they need to do better than the previous generation. So they have a lot at risk, a lot at stake. So they need to have a complete data of the market segment and where are they operating, where do they want to go, and just follow that business plan. So plan is a must.
You've got to have a plan, but let me ask a sort of contentious question, because sometimes managers or fathers or mothers talk about a certain level of entitlement amongst millennials, Gen Z. How do you see that? Is it a myth? Is it true?
It is true. It is true. Somewhere I personally find that, what is there stuck in their mind is that younger generation don't know the value of money, younger generation don't know how we build a company, younger generation don't know the value for time, a younger generation sleep late, get up late. They have every kind of complaints about a generation next, but they don't see the delivery, they don't see the efficiency, they don't see the productivity.
They just get stuck on the stereotype.
Absolutely. And also I've seen most of the generations, when they talk about the generation next, they say very good about them at the public place, and when they come to the dining table, they say that you don't know.
Everyone's crimping. Everyone's crimping. Okay, in the next stage, let's get in and talk about India.
Yes.
So, Mr. Kamath, we've talked about your career. We've talked a bit about UK and company. Can we talk a bit about India now?
Yep.
Let's start with a basic proposition, but it's a very challenging one. India needs to produce 1 million jobs a month.
Yes.
For which it needs people in the right places, educated in the right way. Talk to us a bit about that challenge, and is it surmountable?
That's the biggest challenge. We need jobs, as you rightly said, 1 million jobs every month, and we have plenty of shortfall in that. The last 2 years, the job creation is not that great. So to that extent, the small and medium enterprises have to come up, and they are the job creators. There are two things which can happen in job creation. One is the startup world. They create thousands of jobs, and the other one is the small and medium enterprises. And also in today's world, the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, and robotics have taken some of the jobs. Otherwise, it will have been, will have a decent job.
So that's net negative in your view?
That's negative. So the net creation has to be 1 million, and manufacturing is the way forward, according to me. Especially for the state of Karnataka, we are saying that the manufacturing has to go to the world glory, and a lot of jobs can be created in manufacturing.
I mean, we don't lack raw materials here, right? I mean, we have the largest young labor force on earth. We have a lot of people who, whether by necessity or culture, have the hunger, right? And we've seen this all around the world. Are you broadly confident in India's young and for India's young?
Very much. One is that 65% of the population is less than 35 years age, and all of them are in the earning stage now. That's good for the country. Second, we are consuming a lot, and if you see the consumption story, unparalleled, and there's no comparison anywhere in the world, and that will continue for the next 20-25 years. While the government call it as Amrit Kal, but truly the next 25 years is the India growth story, because you have consumption happening here, you have manufacturing happening here, you have FDIs coming here, and also you are exporting never before what we have seen, that kind of exports happening. And also the focus on clean energy, focus on EVs, and trying to see that whether we can replace over a period of next 25 years, this oil imports could be a game changer for the country, and for that, we need to create jobs.
We're in the final straight now, Mr. Kamath, and you have many more innings, and you have a team to look after, so you can't really go anywhere. But when you think about, when you're walking back to the pavilion at the end of your innings, right? How do you want people to see you? How do you want your family to see you? How do you want this team to see you? How do you want the market to see you?
I just want people to remember me as that there are some people who are willing to help the small and medium enterprises when they need them most, and make them become successful. The others will follow them. And as far as the UKN company is concerned, it's a baby steps towards that. It's a long way to go. And no enterprise is built overnight. It is just that my team, what we have here, they are very young. They can work for another 25 years. And taking 5, 10, 15 accounts every year and showing a path. And I always tell them that we are like a hand post. We just do the hand post job, but we give them the direction which way to go. And the difference what we are bringing here is helping them to execute the business plan, holding their hand together. And at the end of our contract period, say 5 years, we are done. And thereafter they go. So wherever they are struck in a traffic jam, take them till the highway and allow them, now you go forward.
Mr. Kamath, you've been a superb guest. We won't keep you much longer, but how about we finish up with a few rapid fire questions?
Perfect.
Okay, let's go do it. Mr. Kamath, let's end with a few quick-fire questions. Are you game for that?
Yes.
Okay, Mollywood, Collywood, or Bollywood?
Bollywood.
Yoga or tennis?
Yoga.
Surya Namaskar or Cobra?
Surya Namaskar.
Plane or train?
Train.
Teaching or learning?
Both.
Thank you, Mr. Kamath. You've been a great guest. Thank you so much. At the end of our shows, we often ask, what's it all for? Some say legacy, some say to change the world, some admit it's for the money. But with Mr. Kamath, it's clear that he wants to pay forward his knowledge for the next generation. And that's commercial karma in action. We'll see you on the next episode of $1 Billion Idea.